Hi friends, today my friend Sucheta is with me and she is here to share her experiences while raising her teenager daughter. Hi Sucheta.
Hi everyone. Hi Sona. Hi everyone. For me, raising a daughter, yeah, it is a challenge. And I believe that parenting is an art. It's not just anything. And you create. When a child is born, a mother is born. And when the mother is born, you understand your mother. That's what I believe. I don't know how true it is. Actually, for me, parenting is like, see, you learn from three things. One is from the parent, from your parents, from the environment that you have grown. Maybe you're in a nuclear family or a joint family, depends.
Right.
So you will have a lot of inputs.
Right.
Also, your exposure and what you grab from the world, what you incorporate in yourself, everything adds up to make you a parent.
Right.
So every parent is different. And what you give to your child is it's obvious that every mother or a father will have a feeling that what I didn't get from my parents, let me give it to it. And it's obvious that they will have, Mama didn't give me this. It is so common. We try our best and they end up saying, Mama didn't give me this. They will have a list of complaints.
So, would you like to share any particular experience where you have faced big challenge, handling her?
Big challenge handling her is when I had my second son. Ananya was a highly pampered, highly attended, highly cared child until she was 11. I became pregnant. My pregnancy was exclusively horrible. So those times she started feeling that I am moving away from her because I was not able to handle myself. But my husband was there to cover up everything. But unfortunately, in the 5th day of my son's birth, he flew. And that was a disaster. My son is a little unhealthy child, so I was taking all my energy to put forth to him to take care of him alone, postnatal time, taking care of her, taking care of him, house, he being far away, lot of things in me. She was completely neglected, and that sudden shift over of highly pampering, highly caring to complete negligence was a challenge. She started going to in her own room, and by Ahan was around 2.5, we found he has to undergo surgery, which doesn't happen in India. So I had to fly to my husband to get it done. And that was when we put her to hostel, and she was completely reluctant about me. She is like, Mama, you are not with me. She used to always point a very far away tree there and say, that's my Mama. You are there. How much time will you take to reach me? I realized it when Ahan became 5 because it took 5 years for him to recover from the health. And by the time he was 5, I had lost Ananya. My God, getting her back was an awesome challenge.
So how you overcome with this?
How I overcome is starting, we used to have a lot of tussles. As you know, by 13, 14 they'll start giving up back answers. Till then they are still your kids. And by 13, 14 it's like they will start to react with the world, with an environment. Up till 13 to 17 was a big challenge for me. By then I wanted to understand. It took 4 years for me to understand what was my mistake, where I went wrong, how do I correct it. It took 4 long years. Then afterwards I started planning. I started making my own structures, understanding her. Today it's a day where it's just like, okay Mama, fine. I'll give you a second chance. Give it a try. That's what she has told me.
Okay, so good, you have this, and so just I would like to say ki, had it been ever you felt that this whole period have ruined your relationship with her at some point?
Oh yeah, I had. Seriously, any child who was like awesomely pampered and suddenly gets neglected, it's very obvious that the child starts hating you. That too at the age when they have their turnover from a child to an adult, that the so-called adult essence. And that is the time when they need more our support more, where neither I was available nor my husband was available. We put her in a hostel, and that hostel time was a crucial time for her, because that though it was highly sophisticated, their methodology was not right at all. They never allowed her to speak to me for around 45 days. We didn't speak to each other, where she was in a new place, I was in somewhere very, very far. And every day I used to beg to the hostel that I want to talk to her. They would never allow. They would say she has to adjust. And she never expressed her feelings, which was, yeah, it was very bad at time those days. And she actually, she still has that.
Okay, so because of all this, what you have just shared, how do you put up that as a, coming up with all these situations, how she has become now as a person?
See, before I feel she was very much into herself. Me, my mama, my dada, that was her world. Since she started going away from me, she started understanding the world. She's a child who is very sensitive, who is like, if she trusts to the hell. And if that trust is broken, it takes a very long time for her to recover back. Maybe that is also because at a very tender age, I backed off from her. That time she felt that my mama is leaving me, that kind of trust she has lost. So she finds that wherever she goes, if the trust is 100%, then only I can go ahead. Otherwise, sorry, please be away from me. But she's become very bold, very strong, very exposed to this environment. She's able to handle herself, and I always wanted my child to be independent. I've made it. My parenting, I feel it is like that, and she is kind of.
Okay, so right now, okay, all these situations is put them apart, and as a teenager, and when she was below 12, the mood swings have different.
Yeah, that's a very common tendency in every teenager. It's so called, in psychology they call it as teenage tantrums. It is so called is because there are so much of hormonal changes that's happening inside. Inside only they are fighting with so many things, and outside world they are already pressurized with their studies. Exclusively this parental, no, don't do this, don't do that, don't do like that. Before 10 they were allowed to wear shorts, the shoulderless tops, and suddenly when they are 12, no, you're not supposed to wear it. But I'm comfortable in this, why shouldn't I wear it? You can't even explain. And if you explain, like, Mama, why do you think so shit? Please, let it be free. Every people are not like that. They'll end up coming up with such answers. You can't make them understand that yes, there are people like this. We have protected you in that four walls, where you have seen only those people who are okay with your dressing sense, and they who don't misbehave with you for such dresses. But now you are an adult wearing such dresses, you are getting exposed, you are not with your parents inside the four walls or inside that so-called protection field. So you don't know how to handle yourself. You are so young that you cannot understand the second thought. So you can't make them understand all these things, and when you stop them, these super dialogues come out. It's very tough though.
So did she understand what you want to convey to her, or it's like her own opinion about that?
No, she understands.
She understands.
Yeah.
Okay, and do you find any challenges she's facing towards focusing on her other course or studies or?
No, I feel what I have, maybe my way of parenting or something like that, she's very focused. For me, I've always told her, I don't stop you from enjoying. Whether it is 10th, 12th, enjoyment is needed in every time. You cannot always focus on studies or always be in this thing. You have a target. What is your target? She wants to roam around the world, see the world and things like that. If you want to roam around, plan it from now. You can't do it then. Plan it from now. And this thing I've been telling her from childhood, which has actually helped her. So she knows if she wants to enjoy, she has a different category of friends. If she wants to just be cool down, she has different category of friends. To study, she has different category of friends. So she's been seen shifting from people to people. She's not, on one person always having one word.
Right. So she is focused in that way.
Yeah.
So have you ever find her, she's been reluctant to communicate with others, like elders or in school or
No,
neighbors?
not exactly. But she's very choosy in speaking. I won't say that she was, how do I say this? She stops herself from talking to somebody else. But I won't say that she will barge in to talk also. She knows where, what, when, how, who should go.
So according to her opinion, she will talk to the people or communicate with, like that. Not every person.
But I feel that for the situation, however she has to be, she molds herself. Because see, for me, I would say it is an advantage because I have two different families. My mama's family is from a metropolitan city and my husband's family is a complete utter rural family. See, she's been growing from both the places. When she comes to my place, she knows how to handle herself, how to behave with people, where, how, what, where, what to wear, how to put forth yourself, how to carry yourself. And when she goes to a rural area, she can walk barefoot in the muddy, stupid areas also.
So, in this scenario, current scenario, these gadgets, electronic things, what is your opinion about this? Your daughter is like asking too much or is it under control?
Yeah, see, as I want to express, as I said, my mom is 16. She got married at 16. I got married at 19. But for Ananya, I don't want to even think, though she is coming up to 19. So my perspective was they are exposed, my parents are exposed with that four wall of their house, the street, the village. But I am a little more. When I was at the teens, this TV came. No, maybe at the age of 10 TV came, and by teen we had this so-called cable system where we were exposed to so many TVs, movies, songs, all this with a boy and a girl relationship, more of it. Though it had a concept to say, a thing to say, they had a moral. In our age, every movie had a moral. So, when it comes to our kids' age, like if I say, "Ye Jawani Hai Diwani," it ends up with her marriage. The climax scene ends up with her marriage, where the bride drinks a sip of alcohol before going to the mandap. And in my zamana, we were supposed to be empty stomach for the whole day before going to mandap. A big difference, right? I hope you also understand what I'm telling. So it's a big difference, and obvious that kids get exposed to it. The way they dress up. Actually, present yesterday night, we had gone to a movie which was released before my birth, and today they have made it HD version. From that cinema scope to some HD version they have made. It was one of my favorite movie. So I'd gone there, a romantic movie with a rebel hero. Nice movie. I was telling my husband, see the way they've dressed up, see the way they, understand their parents, the way they behave with their parents, the way a boy and a girl is portrayed though they are in relationship. They still have an inch of gap between them. Today it is like, where do you have to put a microscope and see? Where is the gap?
I agree with you on this.
So yesterday night when I saw that movie, before that you had called me, and I was like, okay, if I see in this perspective, I can put forth tomorrow.
True.
I saw Sanju also. I saw this also. In Sanju also, it is like the parent. Most of it is a parent's mistake. I feel Nargis and Sanjay Dutt uh, being busy in their own industry. Sunil that being busy in their own industry, in their own career, it was the same time for them. And both of them in a very high profile put their pressure on their child for high profile thing with giving a lot of money to him. He ended up with so many disasters. But yes, Sunil Dutt was a great father who brought him up. But so there's a lot of things for us to learn as a parent in that movie.
So you feel that at some point of time we have to control things, and at some point of time...
No, I won't use the word control, Sunil. I would say, instead of saying control, befriend, express, emote, and then come up with their emotions, let them express. Yeah, there will be tussle. Your think process, their process, it's around 2 decades difference. Obviously, there will be this thing. Put all your, maybe in a very befriending way, put all your experiences, your maybe like an incidents or things like that. Go with it and make them realize. It's very true that they will only realize 25% of what we say.
That's true. That's
75% is what they say, what they get the information from their friends, the so-called Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp, blah blah blahs.
That's true. So you think that nowadays these teenager kids are more influenced with the other environment than the parents?
Yes.
Yeah.
Influences. Very true. Because see, now when I was a kid, I don't think there was an apartment concept other than Bombay or Delhi or something like that. Though I was born in one of a very nice city, but still it was not a rural city, it was okay kind of city, but still we didn't have an apartment concept. Still we had our own house. In apartment the exposure is different. In a individual house the exposure is different. So here now in Bangalore, every road you have 10 apartments. Your exposure is very very different. And the additional is we live in nuclear family. So only you, your mama, you don't have another exposure. So you end up searching for something new in a other place. Maybe friend's house or media or somewhere. And it is also now that's the biggest thing, sleepover.
That's how you handle that situation, which is.
Ananya started going to sleepover at the age of 10. She used to go and stay in her friend's house for 2 days, 3 days, even at the age of 10. Since we were here in this apartment those days, she didn't have much friends, and we knew that family. We were okay with it. That shift over was happening, and she grew with it. We never found any flaws in going there, but she was exposed to too many things. Since it was a nuclear family, only me and Prasanna for her around, going to that place, seeing how she is being handled with her parents, what is she going through, it was an exposure for her. I feel it was positive for me.
Okay, so nowadays also, if she asks her, you allow her to...
Yeah, she goes.
She goes.
Okay, I have no problem. But see, I always believe one big thing. We parents are their mentors. We parents have given the guidance. So believe your guidance.
Right. And one more thing I would like to ask, most of the time she comes from school and share her school incidents, or you have to ask her, or on her own sheet?
I don't barge on her to express anything. Maybe the same day she may not come up if there is anything. Or if there any happy thing happens, yeah, it's obvious that as soon as she sees everything blah 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 happens. If there is something wrong, she says, I had a bad day. Okay, what was your bad day? I had a bad day. I told you, no, finished. After 2 days, that bad day will come out. I know it will come out, but I will just give her time to come up with whatever she says. I always tell her I trust you. Yes, I do trust her, but I always cross-check, but not the way it's like spying. Not like spying, but I will just have a reference.
Okay, so this is after all discussing this, I have come to one point, because you being already a psychologist and into this consultancy and all that, you know how to handle most of the problems with your daughter.
See,
you're able
being with my own daughter, I will have my own emotional relationship, and in psychology is very clear that if you have emotional relations, don't think of counseling. If you're counseling, don't emote with them. It's vice versa.
Okay.
So when you are emotionally into somebody, it's tough to counsel. But yeah, I have my own methods. I found my own methods because I can understand her very well. So I have my own ways of conveying my thoughts, and yeah, so very little of it she accepts.
Yes.
Though I feel that yes, I've given something.
So and even being this expert in this field, you feel challenges are there in coping up with this teenager things.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's nice taking all these inputs from you, Sucheta, and just I would like to share a few tips for the parents and our audience. So based on your experience, what would like you to tell them how to handle their...
See, first thing with the teenager, please let go. You know what, I had a very close person who is being pampered very much. He had very tremendous problem during his birth. So his mom had killed him very badly. To make him survive only, what there is a challenge for them. So you can understand what is the bondage between the mother and the child, because she has gone through so much of things. For her fortune, the child had lot of health problems plus psychological problems or neurological problems like dyslexia, tongue tie, all these things. So it was very tough time for the mother to grow him to a teenage. And it was very tough time for father to cross him his degree. He has taken more years than other this thing. So being an only son, horribly pampered with horrible attention, at the age when he started understanding that he's an adult or an adolescent, he wanted them to let go, which his parents did not do because it was crossed 22, and he became a rebel. Now he's like he doesn't want to stay with his parents. And nobody can convince it. It is so tough. But that let go is very important. You should know. You should trust. It's your guidelines. It's your parenting. So believe your parenting. First believe your parenting. Then there is like let go but still hold. That dog's chain. It should be long enough but still in your control.
True.
So that the dog can still have its roam. But still it can walk through your way where you want to take it. So let go, hold, belief. These three is very important, especially when a teenager is having her mood swings, having her tantrums. Don't go with their words. Yeah, it's anger. Anger gives up super words. So don't trust their words. Yeah. Trust. In psychology they say when a person speaks, don't go with the word, go with the emotions behind the word. So I would say, think of going behind the emotions, not the words.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Sucheta. It's nice talking to you.
Yeah, thank
and
you.
Hope all your valued inputs we will and others will incorporate in their parenting.
Sure. Thank you. I hope my parenting was appealing.
Thank you.